Jimmy Kimmel was back on some ABC stations last night, not even close to all of them, and that means that half the American population had access to see what he had to say. Folks, we watched it so you didn't have to, and we're here to let you know, Jimmy cried a lot.
This country has become so authoritarian, the Germans are like, come here.
Hello, folks, and welcome back to the Pro Channel, where we continue to keep you ahead of the culture curve. It's what we intend to do. It's what we love to do. A passion, a zeal that even the Holly Weirds can feel. Click that like button and let's dive in today. Jimmy Kimmel went about as close to an apology as you can imagine, and he cried on his show last night. Folks, if you're watching this video in the AM, there's a good chance you didn't tune in, and there's a good chance you didn't have Jimmy Kimmel on your stations. Jimmy Kimmel had a job to do last night, and the job was get himself back on the stations, because unless they allow him to be back on ABC across all of the states, there's no way that Disney can keep him on, even if Bob Iger wants to. And so Jimmy, who may have not been, we were hearing that he was going to double down, that he was going to go on the attack against MAGA. Well, Jimmy didn't do that necessarily. He didn't do that. And it may be because of those affiliates. Will the stations across the nation decide to forgive Jimmy? And should you? And should those who believe in what Charlie Kirk had to say? Folks, we'll bring it your way. We're going to play the clips. We're going to break it down. Here we go.
I don't think what I have to say is going to make much of a difference. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't.
But he's still going to say it, which means he doesn't believe that.
I have no illusions about changing anyone's mind. But I do want to make something clear because it's important to me as a human. And that is, you understand that it was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man.
Now, you decide if you think that him cracking up at the exact moment of saying the murder of a young man is authentic or not. I'm not going to weigh in. I'm not going to give you my opinion one way or the other. You decide. You get to decide.
I don't think there's anything funny about it. I posted a message on Instagram on the day he was killed, sending love to his family and asking for compassion, and I meant it, and I still do. Nor was it my intention to blame any specific group for the actions of what it was obviously a deeply disturbed individual. That was really the opposite of the point I was trying to make, but I understand that to some that felt either ill-timed or unclear.
No, it feels like a lie. It was a lie. You came out with a lie. And this is where we get into the issues, folks. Unclear, ill-timed, no. You declared that this person was MAGA. That's obviously untrue. Everybody knew it was untrue. Nobody believed that who has a single rational thought in their head. And yet you went on to your show and you claimed that. You blamed the dead before Charlie Kirk could even be laid to rest. You blamed him by saying that it was his supporter, a MAGA man, that did this. Atrocious. It's atrocious. So don't come back and tell us it was ill-timed. There's never a good time for a lie like that. Don't tell us it was unclear. You have a writer's room filled with people, and you have a teleprompter you read from. That's on you guys if you can't be clear following a national tragedy.
Or maybe both. And for those who think I did point a finger, I get why you're upset. If the situation was reversed, there's a good chance I'd have felt the same way. I have many friends and family members on the other side who I love and remain.
Then why did you tell them, the people on the other side, why did you tell them that they should die, Wheezy? Why did you do that, Jimmy? We've got those clips. We can play them again. Should we? Should we? I think we should. Folks, here is Jimmy Kimmel talking about who should live and die. But he's got good friends on the other side. He loves them. He loves them. Here's Jimmy Kimmel. Here's the real Jimmy.
It was not a fun Labor Day weekend COVID-wise. The number of new cases is up more than 300% from a year ago. Dr. Fauci said that if hospitals get any more overcrowded, they're going to have to make some very tough choices about who gets an ICU bed. That choice doesn't seem so tough to me. Vaccinated person having a heart attack? Yes, come right on in. We'll take care of you. Unvaccinated guy who gobbled horse goo? Rest in peace, Wheezy.
Rest in peace, Wheezy. That's Jimmy. So, Jimmy, I know, and you know what's funny? I hate to be this way. I hate to call this into question. Maybe I shouldn't. There's a lot of vocal warbling is what you call that. There's a lot of vocal warbling going on to indicate that he's crying and he's sad. Not a single tear. The man is all out of tears. He must have dry eyes to come out there and cry with, I mean, look at the eyes. They're not even moist. They're not even moist. He's not puffy in any way.
On the other side who I love and remain close to, even though we don't agree on politics at all. I don't think the murderer who shot Charlie Kirk represents anyone. This was a sick person who believed violence was a solution, and it isn't.
And here's the problem. That sick individual does belong to a group, into an ideology, into a way of thinking. That individual did write things on the casings of the weapon with messages that belong to a particular ideology and group. And to deny that is to deny reality. No, I am not blaming everybody on the left. I would not do that. That's crazy. But we do have a 5 to 15% of the population problem where they celebrate this sort of thing. They enjoy the suffering of others, and they're turning it into a quasi-religious sort of thing. And we need to identify it. We need to recognize it. Let's go now to what Jimmy had to say. Additionally, we're going to play this too for you. Again, this is from last night. You may have slept through it. We did not, up into the wee hours to get this ready for you. Here's more Jimmy.
I'm not sure who had a weirder 48 hours, me or the CEO of Tylenol. It's been overwhelming. I've heard from a lot of people over the last 6 days. I've heard from all the people in the world over the last 6 days. Everyone I have ever met has reached out 10 or 11 times. Weird characters from my past are the guy who fired me from my first radio job in Seattle, where we are not airing tonight, by the way.
And we got to we got to talk about this joke about not airing in Seattle. Jimmy Kimmel is not airing across vast swaths of America. So when he comes out and he cries after we were told in the Hollywood trades, he would not apologize. Sounds like he came about as close as he's willing to do so. And there might be legal reasons for why he can't go any farther. Consider that, okay? There may actually be some legal reasons that if he comes out and goes any farther than he did, maybe he actually makes himself liable. I don't know. But I'll say this. The goal was get back on the stations because, again, Jimmy can't stay on the air if half of America doesn't have him on their airwaves. It's impossible. So Jimmy had to come out. Maybe he was going to double down and attack. Maybe that's what he said to Bob Iger 5 days ago, and Dana Walden. Maybe everybody thought that. The minute the affiliates pulled out, this is the fulcrum that people need to understand. When the stations said no, our audiences don't want you. They're infuriated by what you said. Our advertisers don't want you. There is a full-blown collapse, and Jimmy had to fix that. I don't know if he fixed it. You tell me in the comment as you watch this video, did he deliver what he had to do to stay on this show? And then does he stay on past his contract, which ends in August anyway?
By the way, sorry, Seattle. His name is Larry. In 1989, Larry tried to force me to do a bit called Jokes for Donuts, where people would call in with a joke and I would give them donuts. I refused to do it, and then I made a lot of fun of Larry for suggesting it, and eventually Larry fired me, and I had to move back in with my parents. But even he wrote in to cheer me up. Thank you, Larry, and I want to thank everyone who checked in. I would take all week to list all of them, but some that I do especially want to mention are my fellow late night talk show hosts, my friend Stephen Colbert, who's found himself in this predicament. My friend
Colbert's going off the air. You're likely going off the air. It's the ratings. You guys went. You want to be martyrs. You want to get out here and you want to cry and you want to act like you're a good guy. You guys went so heavy into venomous politics, not just normal politics either, like venomous politics. And you wiped out your audiences, you wiped out your ratings, you wiped out your revenues, and now you're going away. And you can come out now and try to reframe it and be like, we're really good guys. And Larry from Seattle, everybody has been messaging me and telling me what a wonderful, great guy I am. It's kind of a sick way to handle it if you think about it. You know, you come out and you make a demonstrable false, fake lie about somebody who was just murdered. And then when you come back from being banned at half the country, half of the stations around the country won't even play you, you come back and you say, everybody's been telling me I'm just wonderful. I'm just so great. And I want to thank all of you for really, every person I've ever met tells me I'm great. Let me cry about it. It's kind of a sick way of handling it.
Jon Stewart, Seth Meyers, Jimmy Fallon, John Oliver, Conan O'Brien, James Corden, Arsenio, Kathy, Wanda, Chelsea, even Jay reached out. I heard from late night hosts in other countries.
Greg Gutfeld is the top-rated late-night host. You didn't list him. Wonder why.
From Ireland and from Germany. The guy in Germany offered me a job. Can you imagine? This country has become so authoritarian. The Germans are like, come here.
And there it is, folks. There it is. Slipped in. Slipped in. This is where we're going to stop it. Slipped in at the end. Germany, the land of Adolf, is not as authoritarian as where Jimmy lives. And Jimmy was taken out by authoritarianism that's worse than Adolf. That's the Jimmy. That's the real Jimmy. That's who he is. And when he says that, when he uses that comparison, what you need to understand is the next time somebody is ended publicly and gruesomely and terribly, it's because of things like this. They can't stop. It's innate to them. It's built in. They do it like they breathe. They breathe air and they wheeze out lies. It's utterly unfortunate. I wish this kind of stuff wasn't in Jimmy Kimmel's discussion last night on his show. I don't know. You tell me in the comments below, should the stations across America put Jimmy back on, or does he belong in the dustbin of history as stations say, no, that's not going to cut it, and thus Disney has to cut him? I actually, in this situation, don't know, because it's right on the line. I don't know, and I can't tell you what Nexstar and Sinclair will do. Those are the big affiliates. I don't know in this case, because he did go right up to the line. There's pressure on both sides. Everybody involved in this, this is how close can we get? How close can we get? I don't know that he did it, but I won't be surprised if later today he's put back on more stations. I also won't be surprised if they say, no, you went back into the same kind of stuff that puts our friends in danger. Folks, that's the video for today. We want to thank you for coming our way. We've got more on the way, by the way. 2 more videos coming out later, and then another fantastic pro show at 10 p.m. tonight. Can't wait to see you there. Folks, have a great one. Get out there and make the world a better place. Don't be Jimmy, and don't pump yourself up. You know how you can know this guy is kind of despicable? He turned a national tragedy into a lie, and he used the national tragedy that he turned into a lie to be able to tell you how much people love him. That's pretty gross. That's pretty gross. Woo! Go, Jimmy, go. Wow. What a thing. Folks, until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
You know what? I don't even care this time.
Well, you should know that I'm preparing to...
Nope. I said I don't care. Whatever you're doing, I don't care.
You don't want to know that I'm auditioning for a pro's new rock station on New Rock Radio?
Nope.
You don't want to know that he now has Vacation Radio and New Rock Radio on Prelude Studios, which used to be Vacation Radio, but is now so much more?
Well, maybe.
You don't want to know that I purchased this guitar and these sunglasses using the credit card that you humorously labeled for emergency uses only?
Wait, what? You did what?
Oh, see, now you're taking interest in my passions and abilities. Okay, so Jose, you're sure that we ordered the $10,000 drum kit before Floral canceled the credit card?
It did, Mr. Drum Set. Check.
Nice. Okay. Oh, and the didgeridoo, that will increase in value so that Floral can send his kids to college.
Academia. That's it.
Why is there a didgeridoo on the front porch? I'm gonna bury that little troll.
Jose, Google how to play didgeridoo. We're gonna need to justify this somehow.
Yeah.